بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه أجمعين محمد. اللهم صل وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين، سيما بقية الله في الأراضين وحجته على الخلائق أجمعين، الحجة ابن الحسن فداه أرواح العالمين، واللعنة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، يا جعفر ابن محمد، أيها الصادق يا ابن رسول الله. This occasion is unlike any other occasion that we celebrate or commemorate, because of our affiliation to this Imam. Imam Al-Sadiq alayhi salam is our leader, and he is the founder of the school of thought that we all subscribe to. How? For decades, when the Umayyads were in power, they made sure that Islam was finished. There was no trace of life at all. And Imam Al-Sadiq alayhi salam revived the religion of Islam. The Umayyad caliphs, starting from Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan all the way till the end, they didn't really believe in anything at all. A man by the name of Abu Aswad al-Du'ali said, I came to visit Muawiyah and I saw him drinking with cups made from silver and gold. So I said to him that I myself heard the Prophet say that we're not allowed to drink with cups made from silver or gold. I heard the Prophet say that. He said, Muawiyah, in response to Abu Aswad al-Du'ali, he said, Amma ana fala ara bihi ba'san. But for me, there's no issue with drinking with these cups at all. Like this, it's my opinion against the Prophet's opinion. It's a difference of opinion. One of the caliphs, he would claim to be a representative of the Prophet and God's shadow on earth and the representative of Islam. And he would lead the Muslim Ummah when he goes to Hajj. He becomes the Emir of the Hujjaj, like a representative of the Prophet, someone that occupies his position. And yet, he would go and lead the congregational prayer while he was drunk, intoxicated, while he was in the state of janaba from committing adultery. So he commits zina. While he's in the state of janaba, he goes to lead the congregational prayer. And one day, as he was drinking alcohol with his bondmaid, with his Barbie, he would tell her when it was adhan time, they would tell him that it's adhan time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You need to go and pray jama'ah. You are the representative of Rasulullah. He told his Barbie, the girl he was with, he said that I'm too drunk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. He said that I'm too drunk to lead the congregational prayer. How about you wear my dress and my turban and cover your face, Assalamu alaikum, and lead the congregational prayer? She agrees. So she goes, and we all know that it's not allowed for a woman to lead the congregational prayer when there are men praying behind the Imam. But nonetheless, she goes, she leads the congregational prayer while she was drunk. But instead of praying 2 units during Salat al-Subh, Fajr time, you only pray 2 units, right? But because she was too intoxicated, she offers 17 units, 17 rak'ah instead of 2 units. And the Muslims are just following through, just following behind that Imam, not knowing who the Imam is, of course, but they're praying with the Imam. When she finished the 17th rak'ah, she threw up all the alcohol that she had consumed and fell unconscious. So the Muslims come to the rescue of the Imam only to find that the Imam is a woman and this woman is drunk. But she was wearing the ring of the Khalifa and the turban of the Khalifa. And for decades, perhaps for one whole century, Muslims did not have access to proper knowledge. They did not have access to Islam, to the real Islam. All they could see and deal with was the fabricated Islam being represented by these caliphs. And one of them even decided to build a place for himself on the Kaaba to drink alcohol. On the Kaaba. This is how audacious and bold these people were. They were against God, against the religion. They wanted to go back to the pagan era. They were against the Prophet. So when the Imam came and he seized the opportunity and took advantage of the weakness of the Umayyads, it was during the transition between the Umayyad dynasty and the Abbasid dynasty. He took advantage of their weakness to propagate the religion of Islam, to promote the real teachings of Islam. And for 34 years, this is what the Imam did. And we are affiliated with the Imam. There is a sense of belonging to his school of thought. This is why for non-Shi'as, we are the Jaffarites. They call us the Ja'fariyya. Why? Because he was the one that revived the religion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is why we are affiliated with the Imam. Now the Imam says in a beautiful hadith, he says that if my followers, if they do good, if they are God conscious, they fear God. If they are truthful, always, all the time. If they are trustworthy, if they are good people, I feel proud of these people. This will instill joy in my heart. And when you tell, especially the youth today, this is wrong, this is right, don't do this, do that. You know, this might not be a great incentive to, drive them to do good. But if you tell them that your Imam becomes happy if you listen to your parents, you are instilling joy in the heart of Imam al-Zaman, in the heart of Imam Al-Sadiq alayhi salam, if you are submissive to God. This is different. Because they feel that they have someone, the oversight of an Imam. The Imam is watching them, and it's a verse in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَ اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Whatever you do, there are 3 parties that have a complete oversight over your actions. The first is God, without a doubt. He's watching over our actions. The second is the Prophet. And the third are the mu'mineen, the believers. And the Quran is referring to a certain group of people. He's not referring to me and you, because I'm not aware of what you do in private. But there are a group of people, according to the Quran, وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ, they have complete oversight over what we do. This is why narrations tell us that every Monday or every Thursday our sahifa, like the document where all our actions are recorded in, is given to the Imam of our time. He reads it. And then the Imam says, if you do good, this makes me happy. But if you're an evildoer, this will bring dishonor and shame upon me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. It's like how a parent, they come and tell him that your son is embarking on mischief. He's an evildoer. He did this, he did that. This would bring shame and dishonor to the family, to the parent. The father would feel irritated, bothered, because his son belongs to him. And if his son does something bad, this would bring shame upon him, right? One of our relatives, 2 years ago, his son was killed in a car accident while he was returning back from the ziyarah from Karbala, going to Najaf, back to Najaf. Now, you know, the sorrow and the grief that the family need to experience and go through when something like that happens to them. A man comes up to this relative of ours. He had a son. Now, this man was a respected, distinguished person in the community. He comes up to him. His son was involved in a sexual scandal. He was chatting online with this girl, and this girl took snapshots of his pictures while he was engaging in illicit activities, and it was spread online. So he comes to this relative of ours. He said, I just wish if my son was killed, if my son was dead. And you know, for a parent to say something like that regarding his own son, this means that the parent went through a lot. He said that the dishonor and shame that this son of mine brought upon us is just intolerable. Intolerable. You're lucky that your son was killed while he was returning back from the ziyarah. I know that you're bereaved and you're crying and lamenting, but at the end of the day, he's going to paradise. You should be proud of your son as opposed to my son. Even though he's alive, but I wish if he was dead. So the Imam said that if you act otherwise, if you're not a good person, عَارُهُ يَدْخُلُ عَلَيْهِ, that the shame and dishonor comes upon me, because people will say that this is a Jaffarite. Look at this guy. Yeah, these Shias. And I've seen non-Shias say this about the Shias. When they do something bad, they say, yeah, these Shias, you know, they always do this. Or you're a Muslim. To non-Muslims, when you do something bad, when there's a report in the news about a scam or something along these lines, they would cite the name Mahmoud, Ahmed, you know, these Muslim names. They scammed the government, and it's your money that was taken. Taxpayers' money. You're working so hard and you're paying your tax, and they scam the government. This makes them hate Muslims and hate migrants. This is why the Imam says, كُونُوا دُعَاةً لَنَا بِغَيْرِ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ. When you want to promote us, be silent preachers. You don't have to, you know, try to convince people to embrace us as individuals by telling them anything. No. Make sure that your identity is revealed to them. He's a Shia. His name is Hussein, his name is Abbas, and everyone knows that he's a Shia. Don't conceal your identity, because we're not living in a state of fear in this part of the world. No, don't conceal your identity. Make sure everyone knows that you're a Shia. But at the same time, you should stand out in your work environment, in your school, university, wherever you are. You're the smartest, you're the politest, you're the most generous, you're the most truthful. And by doing this, you are propagating and promoting Imam Al-Sadiq alayhi salam. You're not saying anything. You're not talking to people. You're not trying to convince them by, you know, talking or saying anything. You're a silent preacher. And you're not only, you know, propagating these individuals, you're contributing to God's divine cause for humanity. Because whenever they hear the name Shia, they say, yeah, I had someone in school with me who was a Shia. And he was very polite, he was very disciplined, he was a good person. You become their frame of reference. And when someone speaks ill of Shias, he would say, no, I won't believe you. Because I've seen a Shia. I've dealt with a Shia myself, and Shias are not like this. Now tonight, in the few minutes remaining of my speech, I would like to cite and quote one of the narrations, one of the sayings of Imam Al-Sadiq alayhi salam that is all-inclusive. if you're in pursuit of the Jannah, paradise, or in pursuit of a social status, or in pursuit of respect, or in pursuit of livelihood, you should follow these steps. Imam Al-Sadiq, and I have to be very brief. Imam Al-Sadiq says, and when the Imam speaks, he's not speaking from his own pocket. Because the Imam famously said that if I say something, these words are my father's words. And his words are his father's words. And his father's words are his father's words all the way to the Prophet. And the Prophet's words are God's words. This is why we shouldn't take his words lightly. He says, طَلِبْتُ الْجَنَّةِ, I was in pursuit of paradise. I seek to enter paradise. What do I need to do? The Imam then says, فَوَجَدْتُهَا فِي السَّخَاءِ, I found the path to paradise to be generosity, being generous. Then he says, وَطَلِبْتُ الْعَافِيَةِ, and I am in pursuit of health. And I found health to be in reclusivity, to be reclusive. Let me give you a small example, one aspect of this hadith. When you have a very vibrant social life, you need to talk a lot. You need to speak a lot, right? They say on average, men speak around 16,000 words per day, and women speak around, 15,600 words, and women speak 16,400 words per day. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now, the hadith says that most of the tribulations, most of the bala that befalls us is because of the tongue. When you say something, and this word that I said, the statement that I made, hurts someone, it pierces through people's hearts, people's minds, and sometimes they can't even forget this word that you said. This word will rebound, come back and haunt me. The hadith says that if you shut your mouth, this will give you immunity from tribulation, from bala. But it's difficult because we mingle with other people. And in most of the cases, we have nothing to say apart from, empty rhetoric, apart from commenting about other people, right? And this is the cause of our misery. The cause of our misery. That's why you either mingle with people and not say anything. Don't comment on people's behavior, on people's appearances all the time, or be reclusive. I know that it's not practical to be absolutely reclusive, but if you stay away from the people, this would give you health. Or another example, if you're someone who's got an elevated status in the society, for example, you have a big house, right? If you have someone that comes up to you and says to you that I am in need of refuge, I don't have a place to stay at, you are obliged to open your doors for that person. Otherwise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will deprive you on the day of judgment from an abode in paradise. So the more you're famous, this comes with a lot of responsibilities. So the Imam says, if you're looking for health, immunity from tribulation, from bala, it's reclusivity that you're looking for. وَطَلِبْتُ ثِقْلَ الْمِيزَانِ, on the day of judgment, scales will be brought. Not in the literal sense, but our good deeds will be weighed against our bad deeds, right? Now the verse says, أَمَّا مَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُهُ, if our good deeds were very light against our bad deeds, فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ, we are doomed for good, right? The Imam says that if you're looking for a heavy scale, the side on which your good deeds are placed, you want that to be heavy against your bad deeds. فوجدته في شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I realize that this testimony, it's not just a statement that we make, it's a testimony. You're making bearing witness that there is no God other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He should be your true north. He is your direction. This is why whatever you want to do, think about God first. Am I doing it for God? Is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pleased with me or not? This is what makes the scale heavy on the Day of Judgment. And then the Imam says, وَطَلِبْتُ السُّرْعَةَ فِي الدُّخُولِ إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ. And I wanted an expedited processing of my application on the Day of Judgment. It's like how when you want to apply for something in this country, for example, you apply for a passport. If you want an expedited processing of your application, you need to pay more money. If you want to apply for a visa of certain countries, for example, the UK, the standard visa costs you, for example, $600. The expedited one costs you $1,200. Or in certain countries like the UK, the passport lanes are usually very crowded, but you can pay money to go into the fast lane. Now the Imam said that on the Day of Judgment, it's not just a single day. في يوم كان مقداره 50,000 سنة. A day that is equivalent to 50,000 years of our time. We only get to live in this world for 60, 70 years. Over there, 50,000 years. You have all the people ahead of you that are being judged. And you yourself, every checkpoint that you need to cross on the bridge that goes over the inferno to paradise, each checkpoint takes 1,000 years for you to cross. Now, if you want to go into paradise quickly, especially the people that can see paradise, that can see all the damsels, all the blessings in paradise, you want to go there quickly, right? The Imam says, فَوَجَدْتُهُ فِي الْعَمَلِ لِلَّهِ. You do everything for God. Revisit your intention all the time, even the things that don't seem to be, pertaining to religion. For example, your relationships. For example, eating food. The Imam says, لِيَكُنْ لَكَ فِي كُلِّ شَيْءٍ نِيَّةٍ. You want to eat food? How can I make my intention that I eat the food for God? You eat food so you gain strength so that you could, worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or do good. So do everything for God. This would ensure a fast track into paradise. وَطَلِبْتُ حُبَّ الْمَوْتِ. And I wanted death to be a joyful or a pleasant experience. Generally, death is not a pleasant experience. People hate death. I'm not aware of a person that finds death to be a joyful or a pleasant experience. Why? Because we're attached to this world. And the stronger the attachment is, the more difficult it will be to make that transition into the hereafter. So, if we lessen our attachment to this world, the transition would become easier. Now, the strongest attachment we have to this world is with regards to money. When it comes to money, it's the strongest attachment that we have. Now, if you give away your money, you're training yourself to make that transition easy for you. Because the Quran says, the Quran in Surah Al-Jum'ah and in Surah Al-Baqarah, He says that if you're a true friend of God, فَتَمَنَّوُا الْمَوْتِ. Wish death. Ask God to bring death upon you, bring down death upon you. وَلَنْ يَتَمَنَّوْنَهُ أَبَدًا. But they will never wish to die. No. Right? But if you're a true wali, you would be like Amir al-Mu'mineen. أَلَا مَوْتٌ بُوعَ فَأَشْتَرِيهِ. He would say, if I was able to buy death, I would buy it. I want to die. Now the Imam says that if you want death to be a pleasant experience for you, فَوَجَدْتُهُ فِي تَقْدِيمِ الْمَالِ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ. You need to give money so that the transition becomes easy for you. Otherwise, it would be very difficult. وَطَلِبْتُ حَلَاوَةَ الْعِبَادَةِ فَوَجَدْتُهَا فِي تَرْكِ الْمَعْصِيَةِ. I want worship to be sweet for me. To taste sweet. Can that happen? Yes. These awliya, these people that, wake up in the middle of the night, do you think they only they do this just because it's highly recommended to pray Salatul Layl. They feel good about communicating with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why they spend hours saying Al-Afu, 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 Al-Afu. One of our scholars, he says that his name is Ayatollah Shubayri Zanjani. He's in Qom. Very down-to-earth, humble scholar. Although he's a marja', but the way he walks, the way he speaks. I've had the honor to attend some of his lessons. He said that my father, I remember, used to wake up in the middle of the night and do qunut in Salatul Layl. In the qunut, he would recite this dua. Ilahi, oh God, if you elevate my status, who could bring me down? But if you bring me down, even if the entire world wants to elevate my status, they won't be able to do it. They just won't be able to do it. So the Imam says that I wanted to seek satisfaction from my ibadah when I pray, when I worship God. What do I need to do? فَوَجَدْتُهَا فِي تَرْكِ الْمَعْصِيَةِ. The first thing that happens to you when you sin is that you won't gain satisfaction from your ibadah. This is why some people say, when I read Dua Kumail, I don't feel good about reciting it. When I recite Dua Nudbah, I don't feel good about it. When I pray, while the Prophet used to say, he would tell Bilal, Ya Bilal, when it was time to pray, because Bilal was the reciter of the Adhan, Arahna ya Bilal, instill joy in our hearts, O Bilal, because he felt good when he prayed, when he communicated with God. He said, فَوَجَدْتُهَا فِي تَرْكِ الْمَعْصِيَةِ. You could attain satisfaction, acquire satisfaction from your worship when you abstain from sin. Unfortunately, we have maybe 10 more segments of this hadith that we won't have time to expand on and explain because we don't have any time left. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Please recite another loud salawat.